this podcast is to help you break in and thrive in advertising. We do that every single week by sharing the stories and advice of those rocking it on the other side. Joining us today is none other than Brian Steinberg, a seasoned journalist and the senior TV editor at Variety. Brian has been at the forefront of covering the advertising and media landscape since the late 90s, witnessing pivotal moments like the AOL-Time Warner merger, the evolution of Interpublic, and the seismic shifts brought about by the rise of Google and DVR. But today, we'll be unraveling why having a media, advertising, and entertainment journalist like Brian on our show is crucial for understanding the inner workings of what we do for a living and how to break into this field. Brian's journey through the media world is nothing short of amazing. From breaking the news about Charles Schulz retiring from Peanuts to covering major shifts in the advertising industry, he brings a unique perspective on how journalism impacts advertising and media trends. We also dive into Variety's critical role in the advertising world to discuss the latest trends and predictions for the industry and explore the impact of AI in advertising. And plus, Brian will share his valuable advice for you all looking to make a mark, how to make your work big enough to get covered. Something that I think is super important. And you're going to want to connect with Brian. You're going to want to follow him. You're going to want to see what he's posting. Go to Variety Magazine and also the links in the description. Now on with the show. This is the Breaking and Entering Advertising Podcast. And as usual, I'm your accomplice, Gino Schellenberger. Kick it, Mikey. All right, Brian Steinberg, welcome to the Breaking and Entering Advertising Podcast. How the heck are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing very well. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I am doing well. Thanks for coming on. And we've already did a little debrief before this, but I was basically telling you this, but I think it's good to reinstate to the listeners out there. I think it's so important to have journalists that specialize in media, advertising, entertainment on this show, in addition to the CCOs and agency leads. Because why? I think it's so important to hear you do this. You cover what we want to do for a living, and your insights are so important to me, to our listeners. So I'm excited to have you on, and I think just reinstating that is so important.
Well, I appreciate it. I hope it's worth the the anticipation.
Oh, absolutely. So as an introduction to yourself, as I know from the intro, you are at Variety. You're a senior TV editor. Is that correct? What I'm reading from your LinkedIn?
They have not fired me yet. So yes, that is correct.
Not yet. I mean, eventually everything comes to an end, right? Maybe because of a better opportunity, but you've been at Ad Age. You've been at the Wall Street Journal. You've been at Dow Jones and Newswires. So you got this, what's your niche? What's your beat? What do you cover? What is your career kind of like culminated to?
I've covered advertising and media for a very long time. I say it out loud, it'll make you cry. So I'm not going to say it out loud. I've been covering the media advertising business since the late 90s. I've seen a lot of things. I've seen AOL and Time Warner merge. I've seen Interpublic grow from what it once was. I've seen Interpublic go through SEC trouble. I've seen Martin Sorrell grow and leave WPP.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen DVRs become the bane of the ad business. Now it's streaming.
Yeah.
So I've seen, I've walked through measurement issues, agency issues, the rise of Google, the rise of search, all kinds of different stuff. So I've been covering it for a long while, and it's fun. And I feel like every day is different. There's no, you listen every day. One day you learn about search advertising, the next thing you learn about how soda is made. So I feel like every day is a new lesson about how business works, how companies work, and it's always very exciting. And that's what kind of keeps you going.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, of all the things that you can cover in the world, like, I think it's so interesting that you chose, or you stumbled into, I'm not sure, this world of media, entertainment, marketing, advertising. And why? Why did you select this route? Did you know what you were getting into? What drew you to this niche?
I've always been interested in how the media gets made. This is really the imagination business in a lot of ways, advertising, music, and so how people make decisions about it. What's behind the release of a certain song, or how a TV show gets made, or why do certain TV networks act the way they do? Why are ads made in a certain way? How are they fashioned? How are they changing because of new viewing patterns? I've always been kind of interested in that kind of stuff. So I feel like you learn, you'll see many take on this is bad, this is good, because, but in reality, there are often reasons behind the scenes as to why Pepsi made a commercial in this fashion, or why a show debuts on Netflix versus CBS, or why a sports program is broken down the way it is. I feel it's like little mysteries to solve. I kind of enjoy doing that.
And now I'm not a journalist. I do these interviews. So this question I'm about to ask might be a terrible question, but like in your career, are there any like big standout stories that were pivotal, that were huge in your career that you recall that you can tell us about?
Oh yeah, I have some favorites that I've done over the years. One is not really about advertising, but I kind of stumbled into this. I was the person who broke the news that Charles Schultz, the author of Peanuts, Charlie Brown, was now retired from his comic strip.
When was that? What year was that?
That was in the 90s, I believe, or maybe the late aughts. But
how did you break that news?
So
I was not about that.
I had interviewed him for a business story. The comic used to be run by Scripps. The newspaper chain and owner of Food Network and in different eras, HGTV, that kind of stuff. And they were doing a full push behind his anniversary of the comic strip. There was a big business behind it, licensing and promotional opportunities and advertising. So I got to interview him as part of it, and he was much older. He was, and we talked for an hour. It was a great interview. I was just a kid. The guy had read the comics for a long time, and the people who do the comics had me in one day for something else, like 9 months later, and they kept running in. It was not about that comic, but they were running in and out of the office the entire time. At the end of the interview, they say, "We're so sorry for being so rude," and they're running in and out. But Sparky, which was his nickname, is going to retire next day. So the LA Times is nosing around. They don't have it yet. If you go back to your office, you've been so nice. He remembers interviewing you and talking to you. And if you go back to your office, we can call you when it's ready to go, and you'll get the first word on him stepping back.
Wow.
So I ran back to the office and started writing out a story and the history of why it was so important and how important it was to popular culture.
Yeah.
And I was on a newswire at the time, so we used headlines first. You could put headlines out so the people in the market to read the headline, like you retire, and it was people around. I know people. I played with the AP, so it's the press. We're just, how did he get all of this? This is ridiculous. It was just kind of fun it was a really kind of cool moment. That's more national.
But there's a lesson there, right? Like the connection that you had with him when that interview that was so great. They trusted you, that you developed that, and you stayed in touch. I'm assuming. That relationship. And that's kind of like very similar with advertising and getting a job in advertising, right? Keeping these connections early and often and making them genuine. And you never know what will come of these connections.
Right. All the people who say, I want the closest ties to clients. The clients trust this person to leave would be a major blow for the agency's business, because the client is so trusting of their opinions. That this person, he or she's been a great counselor over the years. So you're right. Connections, and you're right. It's excellent. And those things will take. The longer I do this, the more I feel like people remember talk, interview or conversation, and it helps over the longer haul. That's actually right.
And it's kind of connected to where I'm at in my stage in like the couple years into like, I'm noticing now that I'm staying in a lane now. And I hopped around a couple jobs when I first broke in. And now that I'm seeing that I'm staying in a lane, it's like kind of working out for me. I'm creating a name for myself within the agency, kind of like how you've done probably within the same beat. You've grown, you've become an icon. You're the big fish in the pond now. There's value in staying put once you are in a good spot, because then you'll get recognition and you start to make a name for yourself.
So you start working a niche. I mean, it can be, I keep doing this, I do something different, but it is fun to enjoy the level of expertise, and who to call, and people, your name isn't that unfamiliar people. So I always feel like I have to keep making new sources, because I never know. I'm derived that way, but I think it's fun to have walk in a certain path and kind of enjoy the fruits of I've walked 5 miles, I've walked 10 miles, 20 miles. Yeah, that's correct.
I love that. Can you tell me about variety and why, I think about, a lot of our guests will talk about Ad Age, Ad Week, Mused by Clio, are these competitors and where does variety solve in the mix here? Why should aspiring advertisers read Variety?
For sure.
And give me the layout of that land, please.
Well, Variety is people think of the preeminent show business trade publication. We cover Hollywood, but we also cover really the business of entertainment. What we really cover. We cover films, movies, TV, music, advertising, sports. I think Variety's brand encompasses all these different parts of the entertainment business, video games. I think where we can fit into a diet on Wall Street, on Madison Avenue, in Hollywood, all different places,
which is so important. You're covering culture and what entertainment. And when we get isolated as advertisers, when all we study are ads, we then enter the sea of sameness, right? And we get redundant and we learn from each other. It's like this echo chamber. Some of the best advice is to study outside of ads, to be interested in culture. We hear that time and time again. So this to me is screaming that Variety is a way to do just that. Yeah, to know what's going on in the world.
I think some clients have said, well, being Variety, they value our reader is someone who is looking. In some ways, I feel like I'm a foreign correspondent for people who don't live in the advertising business. You want to know how it works, but a lot of these people are eager to find out how to get their content supported. They want to know what it takes to enlist a major marketer to support them, to sponsor them. And that's changing. These days it used to be about, getting big audiences on CBS. And now maybe it's about, being a favorite among younger soda drinkers who can be identified as or auto intenders or people in the market for a new TV set or a new electronic, but I think, the people who produce these series and movies really want to know what it takes to get Procter and Gamble, Coca-Cola, Wayfair, brand names large and small to be interested in the audiences that they have curate and cultivate.
I love that. Got it. So then it's telling me then the aspiring advertisers should be following Variety. Do you guys offer student subscriptions, or is that something that you guys about? Maybe that somebody else.
I am not sure we do, but that's that question. Yeah.
That's something that I want to make sure. And I've had good luck when I was a student. I just called up the sales department. Is there a paywall? I'm assuming there might be.
No, actually most of our content is available. Subscription really comes into the print product, well as some of our we have a database we'll use about programming, actors, contacts, agents that people find very valuable. And there's premium products. We have a couple of different premium products that more analysis type stuff. But our basic product, the news of the day, is available on Variety.com.
Perfect.
And for a lot of our magazine content as well.
Great. Then they don't even need to worry about that. You just go on and learn. Because there are paywalls in some of these platforms. I know that. And to those, I say, tear them down for students, tear them down or offer some sort of half price if there are subscriptions. And then if you're a student, there are these paywalls, call them up and just say, can I have it for free? It's worked for me, actually. So,
I would think to get a younger audience, the next generation of people in the business, I'm sure most folks would like to cultivate that relationship.
I love that. So I want to now get into, your view, your perspective of advertising and marketing. I will be transparent. I'm still trying to learn about client side. I'm trying to launch a breaking, entering marketing section, but all I know right now is the ad agency world. And that's what I've tailored this podcast content to. So I would love to talk with you if you would like to entertain this, what you've noticed about the ad agency world and marketing agencies, I guess, as well. What trends have you seen? I guess predictions for 2024, big news, anything like that going on that we should know about? Want to give you the mic for that.
Well, I think the business is in great flux. There's no question. The rise of technology and data and data mining, consumer information is really kind of becoming the coin of the realm. What's my consumer doing? What do they like? Where can I find them? The move from linear TV and regular print to just everything digital, social, streaming, broadband. It's creating a new way to build audiences, find your consumers. I think the news this week that Interpublic was going to sell Hill Holliday and Deutsche New York to an Australian company is surprising. These Interpublics, Publicis, Omnicom all thrive on adding creative agencies under their roof for years, buying up, acquiring new and different agencies. And the fact that Interpublic is eager to sell, and then they're going to remain in a relationship, but can sell ownership and found so they're redundant with what they already own, suggests to me that the focus these days is on data mining. And Interpublic's been a big purchase.
Would they sell? So they sold Hill Holliday. Is that true?
Yep.
That's a creative agency.
And based in proud history in Boston.
Yep.
And Deutsche New York, which is, long the dying Deutsche is the agency that helped Snapple get off the ground in a different era.
So they sold both of those creative agencies. And once again, it's taking a step back for our listeners, large holding company, advertising holding company, marketing holding company, sold they sold two of their creative agencies, and they probably own hundreds of shops, right? So they sold two pretty big names.
Yeah.
Pretty powerful creative names. And who did they sell it to?
An Australian holding company of sorts. Actually, it's based in New Zealand, excuse me. I think TiVo, I believe, is the name.
Sure. So they sold that. And I'm sure those agencies will be fine they'll probably operate very similarly, or maybe not.
Both are traveling with them. They're going to remain affiliated with Interpublic, so there's a full relationship.
Okay.
The agencies, but they, the management found that in surveying their holdings that they were redundant with other things they own.
I don't think I've ever heard this before. Maybe to sell off creative agencies and to get rid of them, or usually we're hearing about they're getting acquired and the people are looking to buy the Droga 5 and network, right?
Hot shop that's independently owned. So of course, as they have clients go there, you're going to see the traditional guys look at look at WPP, which is kind of merged J. Walter Thompson, JWT, or YR with other agencies that are more specialized in direct marketing or digital. These traditional creative agencies, I think, are worldly kind of the best known part of the business, and probably still are if I did the history and brand building. But I think the world is changing, and this hunt for digital audiences, curating consumer niches by data and audience mining is becoming the coin of the realm, and the creative folks need to incorporate some of that into what they do.
I had somebody in my agency come to me, and he was talking about also that the importance of having health experience. Have you to get a senior level managing director role? They're looking like some of these big shops are making sure that they have health background, and that's one person. I haven't dove into it, but Havas itself has combined our health and our creative practice at a North American level under leadership. So is that something as well? What's the role of health? Are you seeing that kind of grow?
Pharmaceutical has been a very big spender, I think, and as
it keeps the lights on. We know that. There's no secret that the money comes from health.
These guys also buy longer, and they have to explain all their pluses and minuses in the fine print. Even CVS, they buy big longer lengths of time. Commercials. So they're looking, and I think you're starting to see some direct to consumer stuff from Eli Lilly just was announced this week, which I thought was interesting, about going to the consumer brand and the doctor to kind of sell some different products. You guys are oil bringing. I think as we're seeing a sizable baby boom generation older, the demand for remedies, drugs, health concerns are going to be still be pretty big. And you see these weight loss drugs are making a big ripple in the consumer culture. All kinds of stuff. I think this is a big business, and it can't hurt. Also, you need to make a complex proposition, a drug that helps save, cure certain things, but also has some, different benefits and or, problems make it succinct to a big audience. It's great training, and and there's only a continued pipeline of development too.
So what we talked about now is you said that these holding companies are making more room for spend on placement, media, smart buying, programmatic, that sort of realm. And also we're seeing the dollars now really, because the dollars are probably being brought in by health and some of these big health brands like Pfizer. We saw that.
Sure.
Where does AI play into the role of the creative agency? So should the creative agency be intimidated? Should they be scared? I guess.
I mean, look, change is always unsettling, obviously, and there are people who have probably done business in a certain way for a long while. AI could be helpful. I mean, imagine if you could have a program to help you find the right song or a number of songs, music for your ad that perhaps you weren't aware of. Even if you have an executive whose job it is to kind of be in the know about music and pop music, that's what or aware of certain memes that are breaking out the culture that you could kind of
faster,
as a way of talking to your consumer. And I think there's great potential. So with learning that stuff and use it to kind of distill what's kind of popping would be probably in demand. I don't know. So we can work with it to find the most breaking pieces of culture and or music and or books would be very much in demand or something.
Right. And I've always thought that AI, and I'm actually teaching a course at the University of Illinois this upcoming semester. Probably by the time this episode airs, I'll be co-teaching a class there about how AI can integrate into advertising as a tool to speed up the process, not replace it yet. I think it's something that is evolving with incredible speed, but right now it's a great tool to help us produce faster and more effective.
Yeah,
it's not a replacement just yet, but yeah, I think all these things, are kind of poking holes in the traditional advertising creative agency model.
Yeah,
and that's something that I need our audience to hear. They deserve to know the landscape as they are strategically breaking and entering into this creative communications field. They should know that health has a lot of spending right now. They should know that there's focus on the placement of media and AI and spend, and agency holding companies are looking at these agencies that do that. They need to know the landscape, and having you on to kind of just showcase what you've seen and where it could be going is so incredibly helpful.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, I do. But I think, there's all kinds of AI, for example, could be, I don't think what we've seen so far with AI is I think it helps when it helps inform content. It's great when it actually tries to build content. It seems wonky and not so good. Even you see these AI newspaper articles that are clearly, not done very well and even full of disinformation, or obviously that's not written in good prose. But I hope that there's still a place for everyone to kind of use it to help mine things or build things, but not actually become the builder of things, I guess.
Right. And we've seen now that it's not capable of doing that on its own at the moment. But what I do foresee that, and the direct advice I have for students and aspiring advertisers now is you better know how to use it.
Yeah.
It's a tool. That'd be like if Apple came out, if we were in the 1980s and the Mac came out, or whatever the first Apple computer Steve Jobs released, and you refuse to learn how to use it. Yeah. And then Photoshop comes out and you refuse to learn how to use it. It's very similar. That's how I would say, or how I view it. So
it feels like a better version of search. In other words, you search, right? You found all the different things that are applicable. Now it's like you find all this applicable, plus it's still a little bit about what it's all saying about. So I feel like it's kicking it up a notch. I think knowing what's out there and using it to inform what you're doing is of course great. Do you want the computer to write your article about terrorism or foreign affairs? Probably not. Maybe never. I don't know.
Yeah. Now I kind of want to switch gears, Brian, and I kind of want to talk about in your past and what you're doing today on like how do you select what to cover, and like what advice do we have for creatives out there, aspiring creatives, to create work that you would find suitable to talk about in Variety? What do you look for in creative work, in news and announcements from agencies or from any of these companies that you cover? Like, what advice do you have for them?
So what I look for really are things that are eyebrow raising, surprising. Does the work force the outlet that runs it to kind of change its rules in certain ways? I think, streaming opens up a whole new world. We're straight in this very nascent era of what works there in terms of how advertisers integrate themselves into like a whole new field. Also, like, TV networks are now changing their rules about how they incorporate commercials and run them. I feel like those are anything that makes people shake up their conventions or rules. I think about, they're probably selling these to agencies, how surprising. Why is that happening? Recently, I did a piece yesterday about Amazon hiring someone from Disney to help create new ad formats for Amazon Prime Video, which is
right.
Storytelling at Disney over at Amazon. And I did sort of a new Coke campaign at the start of the year about how Coca-Cola is doing its first TV commercial, and it's going to put all its beverage brands in one ad. They normally only promote a single product per ad campaign. So to have, why is that happening? Now, they've done it in the past for investors, what they have are for to kind of show nutrition advocates. They have more than just soda, but this is a consumer campaign and TV commercial. These are all like print ads. They're trying to show that Coca-Cola feels a need for not just luxury, but also breakfast or athletics or nutrition. They're trying to show how they're fit into a lot of different needs. Maybe they can do a bigger share of your supermarket budget into their product. It's interesting, a change in how they normally approach the market, which is why I thought it was interesting.
Can you kind of like shed light into your inbox and how many pieces of crap you receive that people want you to talk about, and that process of deleting them, and they're just the work that doesn't stand out or the news that doesn't stand out? Can you shed light just so that the people out there know what you go through?
I get hundreds of emails a day, and dozens of pitches a day. Some are, I would say people, tailor it. Don't just send me what you're sending to tailor people. Unless it's such high news bar that we all have to cover because it's important to the business or more people know about. But generally speaking, I get a lot of stuff. It's not tailored. It's just like, I hope you're going to pick this up. I hope that 10 will pick it up. Like, I'm going to send it out to 10 dozen people. I hope 5 of you pick it up, and I get 5 people saying yes. Like, I don't even have time to respond. Quite honestly, I do a lot of go next. I guess if I go out to meet someone for an hour and a half, I'll come back, have 80, 90 emails waiting for me to look at. It's just not feasible. So I really have to focus on things that are new, surprising, things that are tailored for Variety or for me. I'm looking for my own story. Sure, I try to run just bigger business trends that aren't about a one-off about one particular effort. We want to try to do like a bigger piece about things that are surprising, shocking, have multiple players that are weighing in on a certain topic or a certain development, that kind of stuff too. So, I would probably, we all look at pitches, we all look at things, but, I'd largely prefer to kind of blaze my own trails in a lot of ways. And so, but you also want to be on, be aware of what's going on. And sometimes things aren't what's important. You want to cover the government.
Right. And it's super important because as an aspiring advertiser or somebody that's in this industry now, you got the Cannes Lions, you got these big creative awards, Leah's, One Shows, the other, like how to win those and how to get promoted and how to grow agency business. A part of this is getting featured, and that should and getting your work or your campaigns or your news covered. That's essential as well. So it's important to see and hear what you go through, and how to make it stand out is the creative challenge. Yeah. It should be thought about how will this campaign affect culture, and thinking bigger and pushing the boundaries. Yeah. So that's something that when you get the pitch from whoever, that you have no choice. It's perfect. It's tailored for you, and it's exclusive to you perhaps, but also that it shakes the industry.
I explain why this is not just a promotional piece. Why is it important for people to know about it? How does it show how the business is changing, or how? Well, they're always it's a fun story. You tell me that M&M's is going to go all I don't know, stripes for the Super Bowl. I might be interested in that.
Right.
I'll just which is there's but how's it going to surprise, shock, change, indicate, put a spotlight on a trend you might not know about, all that kind of stuff. Or it's just that kind of stuff is always is really what I'm looking for. And I have multiple beats as my job. I cover advertising, but I also cover all the TV news networks. I cover late night TV. I cover some sports media as well. It gets a little frenzied.
What's some cool sports media stuff going on?
I think the move of sports from TV to streaming, and this is the year happening.
Amazon Prime. They did that Marshawn Lynch commercial.
That's right. Yes, that's right. And I think also commercials for streamers and new entertainment formats are big deals. How do you get the marketing behind Hulu and Paramount?
Hulu has live TV.
Yeah, Peacock.
That's a great campaign with all the different. Yeah, people say that to me all the time.
Yeah, but those are big campaigns that are how you reduce churn. These guys are looking to move people from TV to streaming and make a profit off of this. So they're very big, important campaigns. And how those all work? What gets subscribers to pick
our brief actually we do these thing called the Crowbar Awards for our listeners, and our brief this past quarter that just closed was YouTube TV. So I'm going to be diving in to see what campaigns our listeners created for YouTube TV.
Yeah,
so maybe there's something good in there.
The media sector is in a lot of flux. So we get because some corporate stuff as well. So things are happening every day. It's big swings, new ideas, new people, surprises and shocks. So be mindful that when you pitch something, you got to be mindful of the terrain we're on these days. It is unsteady terrain. It is surprising. Everyone's taking big steps. So just to send it out may not be the best move for your client or for you, I guess.
Yeah. Well, Brian, I got no more questions. I think, is there anything else you want to tell the aspiring advertisers, current advertisers? Maybe I bet you a lot of senior people are going to listen to this too, because they probably want to know what you're interested in. Any other advice to all advertisers out there in the world?
I just think it's still a fun business. You learn about a lot about a lot. Nothing else gives you exposure to so many different sectors of the world, consumer culture, different business ideas, different bigger ideas. This business can get Harvard Business Review to Rolling Stone every day, right? So I think it's very interesting. It's just if you're a person who loves to learn, it's a great business to be covering or be in.
Yes.
It is choppy now. Things are changing, but I mean, if you can kind of keep an open mind and want to dive into it, I think there's a lot of rewards just creatively and cognitively. You just keep learning about stuff.
If you weren't covering this sector, what would you want to cover?
Wow, I love covering media entertainment. I think can I cover sports? Can I cover a foreign correspondent somewhere? Can I be a regional correspondent somewhere? And those are all interesting ideas too. But I've been doing this for a long time. It's just fun to go there every day. So I hope to keep it. If I'm just fun, I'll keep doing it.
Me too. I'll stop doing this when I'm not having fun.
Yeah. Right.
Cool. Brian, I thank you so much. I'll put in the description your site and Variety and how to find you. But yes, thank you again so much for coming on. So check the description for all those links, and have a great day and keep doing what you're doing and keep having fun at it.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Nice to talk to you guys.